Today we're going to be trying a brand new product out. It just launched this month from Siser called EasyColor DTV. I got up early this morning to go to my vinyl supply shop because they just got it in stock so I could test this out, and I can't wait to try it with you. If you're new here, my name is Nisha. Welcome to Little Craft Nest, and if you're interested in crafting Cricut tutorials and DIY, make sure you hit that subscribe button. So I have not tried this product out yet. I honestly have no idea if it's going to work out well or not, but I want to see for myself if it meets up to all the hype. The first thing that made me excited about EasyColor DTV is that it can be applied to different materials, so cotton, polyester, or different blend mixes. It can also be used on light and dark fabrics, and you can finish it off with either a glossy or a matte finish. Like, how cool is that? Another thing that's really cool is that you don't need a whole pile of materials or equipment to use this product. All you need is an inkjet printer. So this is not a sublimation product. You don't need a special printer, just use your normal office inkjet printer. You do not need a Cricut machine for this product. And so we're going to be testing it out two different ways. I will use my Cricut machine for one design, but we're also going to try using it with just a pair of scissors, and we're going to test that out and see how that works. I'm also going to test out applying the design two different ways. So they claim that you can use your heat press or even a home iron for this product. So today I'm going to test out using my large heat press here, and I'm also going to try to use my Cricut Easy Press Mini to see if that does the job as well. And I really hope it does, because this material is not super cheap and you really don't want to waste it. So the two things we're going to try to test out today are we're going to print out an image and we're going to put it on a little baby shirt, and then I'm going to see how it does on a dark fabric, and this is just an IKEA pillowcase. So here's the picture that I want to put on the pillowcase. I just have it on my computer. I'm not even going to open up Design Space or anything else. We're just going to go up to the top and go to File, and I'm going to print out this image. And I have mine selected for photo on plain paper, and let's see how that setting does. And then we can just go ahead and press print. So I'm using an Epson EcoTank printer, and I'm just going to open up the drawer here, and then I'm going to put my Siser EasyColor DTV inside. So our paper has two sides here. This side's a little more shiny and glossy, and this is more matte. I'm pretty sure this is the side we need to print on, but we can just peel this back and double check. Yeah, so it looks like this whiter side here is the side we need to put down, because that's the side we're going to be printing on. So I'm going to put the matte side facing down and this glossier side facing up into my inkjet printer here. And then I'm going to go ahead and press print. I'm going to warm up my heat press, and we're going to set it to 154 degrees Celsius, and that's 310 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, if you're using an Easy Press, you're going to have to add an extra 30 degrees Celsius to that. So here's our photo, and it just printed out so good, and I just love it. So what I'm going to do is we're going to cut off the white edges here. So you can grab a pair of scissors. I am going to grab my paper trimmer here. This comes in handy a lot, so if you don't have one, go get one from Cricut. It even has this pull-out measuring bar here, which I absolutely love. So we're just going to trim off those edges. All right, so here is our photo cut out, and now we gotta just open up our pillowcase and prep this. So here is our pillow cover. I'm just going to take my lint roller over it, get rid of all those loose fibers. And we're going to be placing our image right on top. So here is our beautiful picture. It turned out so nice. So my concern is when I move this over to my heat press, my picture is going to move around. So I do have some heat transfer tape here. However, Siser does not recommend using this on top of your printed image. So I came up with an idea. So I'm going to measure and put my picture in place, And then I'm just going to put red markers on the side. So I'm going to put tape around the outside, and then I'll know exactly where to place my picture once it's under the heat press, because it's really hard to measure the pillow once it's sitting on the press. So I want my picture to not be dead center, but a little bit up, because the one thing we are going to do is we're going to try to layer regular HTV on top of this once we put this on. We're going to see if that works. So I'm going to get this in place first. Wow, it seems I'm really good at eyeballing today. It's exactly where it needs to be. So I'm going to grab some of my tape here. And I'm just going to mark it at the top so I know it needs to stay under this line. I'm going to mark it at the bottom here. And then I'm going to do the sides here as well. Okay, so here is our image, and we have to remember we need to peel it off the backing here first before we press it. We don't want to try to put it on with the backing still on. So we're going to peel this. I'm going to use my nail. I'm afraid if I use one of my weeding tools, I am going to scratch my ink right off, and I don't want to do that. So as you can see, this is super, super thin, and we're going to heat up our material first on the heat press just for a few seconds so that our material is nice and warm, and then we're going to put our picture on top, and that should just unroll and fall flat. So let's go ahead and try that. So I've got my pillow cover here on the press, and we're just going to give it a quick 3-second press. And I think we're supposed to be a medium pressure, and this feels a lot heavier than medium pressure. So let me see if I can turn this pressure down a little bit. All right, that feels better. And now that our fabric is warmed up, we are going to put our image on top here, right between those lines. And you can see those wrinkles just coming right out. It's just rolling out nice and flat for us. So we're going to make sure there's no wrinkles here, and that it's in between our tape and not going over top of it. And it looks like it's laying nice and flat right now. So we are going to press this for 15 seconds. All right, it says if it's peeling up, we can just repress it. So let me see here. It looks like it's on there pretty good. And also notice I do have my Teflon sheet here on my heat press. You do not want to press without either a Teflon sheet on top, or you can use parchment paper. So somehow I still managed to kind of put this on a Cricut, even with my tape here, probably because I didn't have the picture perfectly straight within those tape lines. But that's okay, it's a pillow. It can go on an angle. And I kind of messed it up here a little bit because I pulled the tape and the picture was slightly going over the tape. So I'm just going to give it one more quick press. So I pressed it again and I have no issues now. That little mark is gone. So it looks amazing. The quality of the photo is amazing. It is pressed on well. You can see the texture of the fabric right through the picture. So the picture is taking on the form of the fabric, which is amazing. So apparently you can layer regular heat transfer vinyl on top of this. So we're going to try that. We're going to add this word relax here. We can put it right on the picture, right on the side. We'll do it kind of on an angle. Our picture is a little bit on an angle, so we'll put this on an angle and it'll all turn out okay, hopefully. So there, we got the word relax. It's kind of going over the picture and a bit on our pillow. And let's see how this turns out. So let's go press this again and see what happens. All right, and here's our pillow, and it looks so good. And actually, I think the word relax is quite fitting because it's Cricut and relax, just relax about it. And it looks so great. So I just need to put a pillow cover in here, and this pillow is great, and it'll look so good at a cottage or a trailer. So this has a fairly glossy look to it, having used the Teflon sheet on top. And apparently if you put parchment paper on top, you can get a matte look to it. So I'm going to try to see if I can do that. So I have some parchment paper here. It's the brown stuff. I don't have white parchment paper. I don't know if there's a difference. So I'm going to try press it again with some brown parchment paper on top. And we'll see if we get a matte finish rather than a glossy finish. Now, it may be difficult to see on screen, but in person, you'll just have to trust me, it does look glossy right now. Oh wow, I'm just so in awe that this actually worked. Like before it was glossy and it is actually matte now. That is super cool. I don't know any other products where you can just choose and be like, oh, I want this glossy, I want this matte, but you can with this material. And apparently if you want this glossy again, all you have to do is put it back on your heat press with the Teflon sheet on top. So if you put Teflon on top, you're going to get shiny. If you put parchment on top, you're going to get a matte finish. That is just super, super cool. So now we're going to print out our design for the baby onesie, and I found this super cute image on Design Bundles. So if you're looking for a design like this, go check that out. I'll leave it linked down below in the description. So when you're searching for designs, we're not looking for SVGs like we normally look for when we're cutting out vinyl. We're going to be looking for PNG files. So these are going to be our multicolor images that are just one layer. So you could search for something like fall sublimation, and then you're going to get a whole pile of beautiful images coming up. So go check these out. There are so many to choose from. So I've already sized down our print then cut image for our baby shirt. So I have it at 5.5 inches wide and about 7 inches tall. And I'm going to be putting this on a 6-month-old shirt. And then I also got these cute little pumpkins that I thought I would put on the back of the shirt as well. So let's go ahead and press make it. And if you find your images a little too close together on your sheet, you can easily just grab these pumpkins and move them down a little bit. That way you got a bit of a gap between your images here. And then we're going to press continue, and we need to send this to the printer. And I'm going to keep the bleed on for this image, and I'm going to turn on the system dialog box. And we're going to press print, and our print setup box should pop up somewhere behind our screen. There it is. And I'm just going to switch our quality here to best. It's on normal right now. We want the best possible quality. And then we're going to stick our EasyColor DTV sheet into our printer and get that printed out. Once your image is printed out, we could go ahead and select our base material setting. I'm going to try doing the iron-on setting. We'll see if this works. I may have to play around with this and adjust it later on, but for starters, I'm going to try the iron-on setting. So my blue mat happens to be more sticky than my green mats right now. So we are just going to take our image and we're going to set this down on our mat. And then we're going to let our Cricut machine do its thing, and we'll get this cut out. Okay, so I just took this out of my Cricut machine, and as you can see here, I've got the pumpkins just completely lifted up and they ripped apart. Like, it seemed to be going fine, but my pumpkins kind of totally messed up. Now, I'm not sure if that's because I didn't let the ink dry long enough on the page. So I'm going to try that, and I may have done the wrong setting. So I'm going to go back and try that again. I think I can still use the top piece of this design, but I'm not going to be using these pumpkins. Or it could be that my blade needs to be cleaned. So there are some possibilities here. So first I'm going to weed this out, and we'll just see how this weeds here. So let's take our sheet right off. And then we're going to peel this layer off here. And look, it's not even peeling up right. Do you know what? I probably totally used the wrong setting. So I'm going to do some more research and figure that out. So I turned my camera off for a bit to do some test cuts. I tried about 10 different settings in hopes that we can get this product to cut out really well. I've also changed the blade in my machine to a brand new Cricut blade. I've printed out our image again, and I've let it dry for a bit. So let's cut our image out again. This time I'm going to be using the iron-on setting with more pressure. So let's hope we get a clear cut. All right, so it looks like it's cut all the way through, but maybe a little more than I wanted it to. As you can see, pieces lifting here. So let's unload this and take a closer look. All right, so I'm going to take this off the mat, and then we're going to try weed this out. And one thing I've noticed about this product here is that you cannot do tiny intricate cuts because it just doesn't stick to the backing paper, so it keeps lifting up. So I think it's better to stick to larger designs. So let's see how this fox and the other lettering turned out. All right, so I'm going to weed this nice and slow. As you can see while I'm pulling on it, some of the letters are kind of pulling up. That happens with vinyl once in a while too. So you might just want to hold down those pieces, especially if they're tiny. In some spots, I just have to give it a little pull. Because our text is not like super sticky like vinyl, I think that's why it has a hard time sticking on this clear backing paper. And that's why larger images are probably best for this product. So let's see our fox here. His hair is not sticking down, so I'm just kind of pulling it away from my finger, and that seems to help lift it up. So it is a clear cut. It just may need a little manipulation with your fingers here. Okay, I'm just going to cut some of this off here so it's not in the way as I pull it. This stuff is actually quite hard to cut with scissors. I'm using the Cricut fabric scissors here. Doesn't want to cut through too well. So you can imagine why you need a sharp blade for this product. And those of you yelling from your screen that I'm using fabric scissors on this, don't worry, I don't really use these ones for fabric. I have another pair just for fabric. So these are kind of my everything else scissors. See, that's weeding nice and smooth around our large fox here. It's just really those little pieces that you need to hold down while you're weeding so it doesn't pull the whole image right off the page. And you can go ahead and use a weeding tool. Just make sure you're not scratching the ink. Just be careful with that. So this F on the word fall here has this thin little strip that's kind of tricky to get out. So I'm just using my little weeding pen here, and hopefully we can get those fine little pieces out of the text. A solid text would have definitely been better for this. There we go. All right, and I'm going to weed out the center there of the word fall. We want to get that white piece out and this white piece here. So now for the tricky piece, these pumpkins, there are just so many little lines here. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to weed this because it's super, super tiny. Yeah, do you know what? I'm not even going to try these pumpkins. We're just going to take them off. We're not going to use our pumpkins. We're just going to use this on our little baby shirt and see how that works out. So I'm just going to cut this bottom piece off here. That was much easier to cut. So now you're probably wondering, how are we going to transfer this as one image to the shirt? You could simply just peel it off and lay it down on the shirt, but we're not going to be doing that. I have some TTD heat transfer mask, and this is going to go over on top of it, kind of like the same idea as transfer tape. So I have this piece here. You can see it's shiny, it has a backing, and I'm just going to turn this over. We're going to take this backing off. And then we're kind of going to do like a little taco fold here. Woo, those letters there got static. They're lifting up towards me here. Make sure my hair doesn't get stuck down with it. And, oh, see that L? It keeps lifting up. That's kind of funny. Oh, too much static electricity going on here. All right, I'm going to kind of push that down a bit with my finger. So we're going to do the taco fold. I'm going to put this right down in the middle. Oh, and make sure we don't wrinkle anything. I think I am having some stuff wrinkle here. So I'm just going to get my finger, lay that S down again. That S just wants to come up. All right. Okay, we got you down. All right, so we got this side down, and now we're going to gently put the other side down. This F is doing that same thing as my S now. So let me try to peel this off for a second. All right, we don't want to get wrinkles in our design here because I don't think that would look too well on the shirt. So I'm going to kind of hold this down so the static doesn't lift it up. All right, I'm getting a few wrinkles here on my F, and I do not like that. I'm having no problems with my fox, but that's because he's a larger image. So I'm thinking that tiny pieces are just very, very finicky. All right, so I'm going to use my weeding pin here and just kind of move this around a little bit. All right, I think that's flat. All right, so I got that on. So very finicky with those tiny pieces, but the large image, no problem getting that mask on. So I'm just going to roll this on here. Make sure we get all those air bubbles out. All right, so now we're going to pick this up and let's peel off the backing here. That's peeling so nice and smooth. All right, that was easy. All right, now I'm going to grab my heat mat over here. And I've got my baby shirt, and like when we're doing any other image, we want to clean off any of the lint that's left on the shirt or any fibers or strings. So just take a lint roller and clean off your shirt. And this time, instead of using my large heat press, we are going to be using my Easy Press Mini. And I have no idea if this is going to work. I haven't seen anyone try this, so this is going to be an experiment. And since Siser recommends when you use the Easy Press to do an extra 30 degrees, I'm actually going to turn this up to high. Normally when I'm testing out a new product, I usually start at a lower heat setting, but we're going to try a high heat setting and we're going to see how this goes. So my press is warmed up now, and I'm just going to go over the shirt for a few seconds to warm up the shirt. And then we're going to lay our design on top. All right, hopefully I'm centered and straight this time. We're going to press that on. And we don't need to put a Teflon sheet on top because we are using this. But if you want to, you can. We're just going to try it this way and see what happens. So let's go over top of the design. We're going to do this for about 15 seconds and see how that goes. All right, so this is a warm peel product. So you can just wait 3 or 4 seconds until it's okay to touch, and then we can try to peel it off. Now, if it starts to lift up, we can always go over it again. So let's try to peel and see what happens. Oh, look, it's going good. I'm doing this slow because I'm so nervous here that it's going to start lifting up on me and I'm going to wreck it. So let's see. All right. Oh, look at that. It turned out so good. All right, yay. All right, this is so awesome. And look how stretchy this is. Like, it just stretches right with the material. So that is pretty cool. This is so cute. And it doesn't feel big and bulky like some printable vinyl does. Do you know what? I just realized we're missing the dot on top of our eye, but that's okay. We'll pretend it didn't have one there. I must have missed that when we were weeding, but that's okay. But this is super cute. I absolutely love this. And you can see like the fabric going through the vinyl, so you know what's on there really well. And we were able to put that on with an Easy Press Mini. So that is pretty cool. All right, so my overall thoughts on this product. It is an amazing product. It does take a while to figure out the cut settings. I would avoid tiny intricate cuts. I'd stick to larger cuts and just be very patient when you're weeding it back. But other than that, this product is so great. I would definitely buy it again, and I can't wait to see what else I can make with it. I absolutely love how both our items turned out today. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you press that like button and go head over to my brand new website and check that out. I hope to see you on more crafting adventures.